Hello, ninth grade. This is our next to last lecture on some of the most complex creatures on the planet. The birds and then the mammals. The mammals arose a long time ago. They had a split with the reptiles. They were now form a sister clade, which we talked about, and they've been around for a long time. What we call birds are fairly recent in geologic history, and they also arose from reptiles. They split off or branched off, but from a very particular group of theropod dinosaurs, coelosaurs, and the like. Velociraptors would be a good example. And the idea of feathered dinosaurs is now very common in our understanding of dinosaurs. And if you look at the body plan that these particular reptiles had, they were bipedal, they were very active, very intelligent, and they had their arms and hands basically free for all sorts of things. And so I want to walk you through their story of the evolution of birds from dinosaurs, because that may be a strange thought to you. So the fossil record is really nice and really clean. Birds have one of the best linear, well understood and well documented fossil records because of what it takes to become a fossil, which you've had to have been around for at least long enough, if not a long time. A broad geographic distribution, which birds are very good at doing, and basically dying in the right types of settings, which, because of the habitats that birds like, they die in a broad range of habitats that are almost ideal for preservation, even of fine tissues like feathers. And so they have a great fossil record from theropod dinosaurs all the way to modern day birds, and it's one of the most convincing and powerful bits of evidence that you can see in life's history of a great transition. And here are just a few examples where you can see long fingers with claws, long tails, but then you see other bird-like features such as asymmetrical feathers and long necks and slender bones. And so what a great story this is. One of the best, most recent fossils is an amber fossil that I probably showed you a while back when we did evolution in general, where this is a feathered dinosaur because it has 9 vertebrae in the tail. Birds don't have that necessarily. So these are 9. This is a long tail with 9 vertebrae, and it has symmetrical feathers where, if you look here, you have the central shaft, and then you have equal length barbs on either side. So one of the first things I want you to understand is feathers are used primarily for insulation. And the only reason you would want insulation on something like a dinosaur would be that it's warm-blooded and it needs to preserve the heat that it generates on the inside. If it were ectothermic or cold-blooded, if it derived its heat from the external environment, then it would not want any barrier between it and the environment. But as soon as you get feathers or fur, something like an insulator, then that means the animal is generating heat on its own and it wants to preserve it. And so dinosaurs were among the first to develop feathers. So this is a picture of the hand of the creature, a part of the hand. And so this is a really cool fossil to see. So it's well understood that dinosaurs were indeed active, and they have all the characteristics of warm-bloodedness. The picture here is of an oviraptor nesting or brooding over some eggs and young. And the only reason you do that is because you have a highly developed creature that is generating its own body heat and is basically incubating eggs. And so this is a dinosaur, not a bird, but they have a lot of similar behaviors and traits that modern day birds do. I wish we could see a live dinosaur move, and we would probably say it moves like a bird, which would be pretty funny because birds probably move like dinosaurs. We've just never seen one. And so what a great transition, what a great story, and what a great amount of evidence that birds have that they derive their ancestry from theropod dinosaurs. So if you can use your imagination, ever put it in front of your lens, the next time you look at a bird, try to imagine their arms and hands folded back along their body, watch the way they move. Crows are the easiest to see this in, and so it's pretty fun, at least for me, to imagine that. Modern day birds have a highly advanced, highly specialized type of skeletal structure Their tailbones are fused and shortened. Their pelvis is raised and fused. They have a large breastbone where they attach large pectoral flight muscles. Their bones are hollow. Their feet still look somewhat reptilian, like we would think of as a dinosaur. They do have three fingers on their hands that are just fused. And so the bird skeletal structure is really interesting, but you can still see echoes of its ancestry. Lastly, the physiology of birds is really distinct. They not only have lungs, but they have posterior and anterior air sacs. And what this allows for is a really efficient gas exchange system. Basically, they receive oxygen on the inhalation and the exhalation. What's funny about this is that large dinosaurs like T Rex and Allosaurus also had this exact same structure for air sacs because there's no way you can get a creature that large and that active without it suffocating. And also, it lightened up the body so that they could be more active and more mobile at such a large size. So, this is an adaptation that was originally used by large theropod dinosaurs to make them cardiovascularly efficient as well as lighter in their structure. Birds now use this for flight. There's no way that we could try to mimic breathing like a bird where they receive oxygen on the inhale and the exhale, but you can try practicing. It'll make you look funny, but just understand how efficient their gas exchange and circulatory systems are. All right, gang, that's it. Next lecture, mammals.